Hello, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for joining us. Today, we're bringing you a Kickstarter preview of Tiny Epic
Itty bitty epic dungeons.
Dungeons by, no, that's a different series.
Ah,
Gotcha. By Gamelin Games, available now, well, soon, well, now, on Kickstarter.
Soon.
Here's the thing, we're recording it a few days before the launch.
Yes.
But we're probably going to post it on launch day.
Got it.
We just got finished doing a gameplay.
Yes, we did. We did. We had a great time.
It was an absolute riot.
Yes.
You should totally check that out. This is going to be a video that is going to be walking you through the core concepts, mechanics, and everything you need to know about Tiny Epic Dungeons as quickly as possible.
Okay.
And I'm joined today by Max from the Table Knots.
Hi, I'm Max from the Table Knots.
From the Table Knots. Max, could you do your very best while I sit silently and drink my bourbon to explain to the audience and demonstrate your proficiency as a board game previewer?
Oh.
What exactly is this game?
Okay, so this is a card-based grid system dungeon crawl. You are going to set up the deck in a particular way where you put like the layer at the bottom of the deck, or at close to the bottom of the deck, and you put your minions, and then you put your normal cards.
You're diving into a cave system, and it escalates in power.
Exactly. So you're always going to start on this card right here, and you're going to have 4 cards set up at the start of the game, and as you expand, you're laying down new cards everywhere there is a corridor to reach.
Your adventure is going into a dungeon.
Yep.
Exploring rooms, uncovering...
Am I being too specific for you?
You're being too specific.
Okay.
Uncovering mysteries.
No. I got it. I got it. You told me. You didn't even tell me. I had to ask. But I figured it out. I'm being too specific. This is Tiny Epic Dungeon. In Tiny Epic Dungeon, you go through a grid-based dungeon crawl as you open and flip new spaces on the map and encounter new things like traps and goblins and minions and eventually the boss's lair. In doing so, throughout this game, you will be moving down on the torch track, which essentially...
This is going to be such a cool system.
Yes.
It's a pressure mechanic that you can gauge and read that's going to control the impact of your decisions on the table. It will spawn new creatures, trigger their activations, or give you a moment of respite to breathe and power up. Managing this dial is probably one of the coolest little innovations they have. You have almost perfect information, except for the fact you're also dying along the way.
Yes. There are 4 in this prototype version heroes that we can take. They all have different stats, dice they'll roll, abilities, special abilities like Seeking Bolt, and what is yours called? Shadow Step?
Mine is Moonblade, the Dark Elf Rogue, who has the special ability Shadow Walk.
Yes, and I am Etherna, Elf Sorceress with Seeking Bolt. There's other characters that have different special abilities. We also have generic abilities, like we both have a dagger, he has a lockpick, and I have research.
But what would a good dungeon crawl be without spells, cards, and abilities? I'm just going to start proliferating these out onto the table because we have piles and piles of incredible items that pair together, chain together, do special abilities, do extra actions, allow you to buff, debuff, and supercharge all of your different activations throughout the course of this game.
And they are cool.
They're so fun.
They are cool. If you played a video game like, I'm trying to even think, Dark Souls, I think, has this.
Who plays video games anymore?
That has this
loot system.
Yes, loot system. That's a good way to say it.
Yep.
Where you can also have sets.
The longest pause.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Like, for example, throwing axes of the bear, studded jerkin of the bear,
great axe
of the bear.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. You
got
that one.
By having all 3 of these on my character at once, I get +3
and each
to my melee attack.
And it's not only that you're trying to always get a full set.
Yes.
Each one is going to chain and supplement and add abilities. Not only do we have all these amazing items,
spells.
We also have spells. You want to tell them about the spells?
Cool spells.
You want to tell them about the spells?
Let's talk about the Claw of Darkness. This spell is a little bit of risk-reward. You have to have a skill check. That's what a lot of this game relies on, skill checks.
It does. Every single one of your characters is going to have their own variable degree of skills that are usually going to relate to how many dice they roll.
Yep.
These dice are then going to result in either straight 6s, which is very good, or pluses that modify your dice roll. Every item, trinket, ability, and spell that you get may also supplement those dice rolls. Most of your spells are going to be that. They're going to be skill checks based off of your strength, dexterity, or magic.
Right. So this one, for example, I can target people in any 2 rooms on a path.
I remember that one.
If I succeed of a skill check of 4, I use 5 focus. They lose 3 health, and the claw of darkness just... But if I fail this skill check, we move down 1 on the torch track, which is not good at all.
So, core conceit of this game. I hope you're enjoying this video, because this is probably the most chaotic dungeon crawl esque
it's a
preview that we've done. Here's what you're doing. Throughout your mission, you're going to be revealing tiles and exploring this cavern, just like in any classic dungeon crawl. You're going to be upgrading and buffing your characters throughout the course of it, all of which are going to have not only their own special asymmetric abilities, but also a ton of available items and resources and spells that they can get a hold of. You're going to be popping the heads of minions, such as goblins that are popping out of the walls, feeling really powerful, until you start running into...
the minions, and the biggest enemy of all, which would probably be the torch track.
Yeah, go ahead and talk about those 2 loss conditions. Before you even get to the end boss, there's going to be some ways that you could lose this game.
If, at any point in the game, you have 4 goblins already on the board and need to spawn a 5th, game over.
Game over.
If, at any point in the game, one person is knocked down and the other person gets knocked down... And
who would be able to do that? These fiends are terrifying.
They're pretty scary.
If you're knocked down and you're left alone in a room with an enemy, or another player also gets knocked down, you're done.
Or, if you need to pull the layer card and are unable to place it...
You gotta build the dungeon in a strategic way.
You can't win.
And, as you move through this, if you get to the end of this track...
That's it.
Here's the problem.
This track moves every single turn.
You will not be able to explore the entirety of the dungeon before your torch runs out, unless you supercharge your torch by fighting and murdering
minions.
Yes. Here's the issue.
Minions are crucial.
Minions are terrifying.
They are.
Yeah.
They are also necessary.
They are.
Not only to push the torch track up.
Let's talk about endgame.
But
what's the main mission?
To even get to the boss. To even enter the boss's lair.
They hold some keys.
You have to have 2, 3, or 4 keys depending on what player count you're at. Meaning, we have to kill every minion in this game.
I hear what you're saying, but Max.
Yes.
But Max.
But Jesse, what?
We win the game when we open that door, right?
No, you do not.
Okay.
You do not win the game at all. If you're able to unlock it, you flip it over and see what is a monster of a boss.
Here's the cool thing.
Yes,
these bosses are another degree of depth into this game, and I think this is actually where this torch track... There's a few other dungeon crawlers that are pure fun. They did that well. The torch track is something that I think is unique.
It is.
And interesting. This is the second part.
Yep.
These boss tracks are going to be 2-stage battles. You're going to have a degree of health depending on how many players you have in the game. That's pretty common. But here's the thing. Around the outer rim, you're going to have your lair positions. When you open that final door, when you reach into that, wherever they are, the murky lair that they exist in, you're going to be able to decide to move into that space to deal extra damage to them. Depending on what position you are, you'll have a buff or a debuff. That's great. Until you get to a point where they have a little bit of a shield icon or a relic or a magic spell that has imbued them with the ability to avoid your damage. Arrows piercing off the sides, spells blasting up against an ice wall. You've got to lure them out. You can't defeat them in their lair.
You've got to leave and taunt them and get them to follow you.
So this becomes a game where not only have you just explored, gained weapons, gained abilities, scaled your... until you come to the lair, and then you go, hey! And it becomes a chase. It becomes this maze, this puzzle that you're trying to solve. First, you're building out a puzzle of how you construct this dungeon, and then you're trying to figure out the riddle to bring this creature from the depths of their hiding place.
Yeah, you may get lucky, and your ritual might be right outside of the lair.
Out into the open and journey them through the tunnels so that you can finally break through their defensive walls and finally take them down.
Yep. And they're also mean, and they hurt a lot. And these characters don't have a lot of health.
No, they don't have a lot.
5 health, 6 health.
I've got 6.
8 health and 7 health. So we did choose the weakest of the two.
I hear what you're saying.
However,
doesn't change.
Doesn't change it.
Yep.
This game does such an extraordinary job of making you feel so strong and so cool. Until you're not. You're so powerful.
Is this prototype a in-depth, story-driven dungeon dwell?
No, absolutely not.
Is this prototype the most easily accessible dungeon crawler we've ever played?
No.
Is this prototype pure chaos and fun, demonstrating the best parts of an Ameritrash dungeon crawling system?
Yes.
Every second of the day.
Absolutely. I want to touch on one more unique thing.
Do it.
And maybe you know of another game with this.
I'd like to touch on one more unique thing, too.
In this game, you're rolling...
Yeah,
I got it. You're rolling 1, 2, or 3 dice based off of your skill, your power.
These are going to be custom dice.
Let's say I roll 3 dice. I got a 4, a 3, and a +2. So
your lower numbers aren't negative.
They're good. You want them.
You kind of want a 6 and double 2s.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want. Because in this instant, I can't pick 4 and 3 to equal 7.
Nope.
I pick one of these dice, and then if I have any addition dice, I can combine them to make this a 6. Then, if I don't use this dice, it has a little lightning bolt on it, and I get what's it called back? Energy, something. I forgot.
Everything in this game is designed around the idea of giving you something for everything that happens. There is almost never... There are bad moments.
Oh, yeah.
There are crushing moments.
Oh, yeah.
There are almost never actions or activations that you take, however, on your turn, that debuff you or restrict you. The entirety of our, hour-and-a-half play session, every 15 minutes was a brand new... Every 5 minutes was a brand new... I just got this thing. Look at what I can do.
Let's see how we can use it and break the game.
And we're recording this preview on the back end of just really enjoying the game.
Yes. Yeah. Disclaimer.
So, take it with a bit of bias.
We both loved it.
I'm
in.
Yeah. It's good time. All that being said, just for the caveat that you all are looking for, this isn't a narrative-driven dungeon crawl from what I can see so far.
To set it up and have fun.
This also isn't a aggressively lightweight one. There are a lot of iconography, and if you've ever played a Tiny Epic game before, you'll know that as they scale in depth and complexity in such a small package, they also scale in the degree of little things that you have to read and intricacies in the detail of level design and character design and card design. It was accessible, and I believe we could dive back in after our first play.
Well, it's hard.
But there is an element of it that is genuinely intimidating. You're not going to be able to get this to the table with a brand new gaming group. This is going to be the thing that you pull out to play with people that want to sit down and have a lot of fun for 60 minutes.
Yeah, and there will come a point where you understand the iconography to a T, and you can help, because it's all open information.
It is.
So I can help you and teach you the game and be fine, no problem.
But someone needed to know.
Someone needs the prior information.
Yeah, it's not a start from zero type of game. I would love to see more narrative. I cannot wait to see more weapons, more abilities, and in this prototype you're seeing little meeples. They're going to have full-blown miniatures. I also have never seen... First off, Gameland Games has never produced miniatures in their Tiny Epic series before. I'm excited to see what they look like and how they produce them and the depth of character and customization that they have in such a little accessible box. But from what we've played so far, if you're intrigued, if you're excited, if you're interested, I can tell you it's a lot of fun.
It is. It is.
If you're still skeptical, if you're not sure that this is the right game for you, or if you have other Tiny Epic games that you're still trying to parse out, pay attention to it. Dive in. It may be right for you.
Go check out the other video.
Not be. Watch our gameplay.
Yeah.
Or don't, depending on what we told you at the very beginning.
That's true. We send a lot of mixed messages.
We did. We did. All that being said.
Remember to do the important thing?
Oh, I don't know. I was just going to let you do it however you wanted.
Well, see ya.